Will you look back when you're old and grey and think those dumb kids had a lot to say when we were trying to make this night one you'd remember? I don't care if my wheels don't turn, I don't care if my pipe don't burn, as long as I am flowing through your veins after I'm gone away.
It's Thursday night, and you know what that means.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
We've been gone for a while. Well, it
We
feels like longer
have.
than it has been because
It does feel like
we've done a lot. We had a social, which seems like ages ago now, and then we've done Scarcity, which we can talk about, and then we did Oktoberfest again, which I think was better than the first time, and we did. What else did we do? Oh, we did Goose Fair, which the vlog is also on
we so did.
line as well. But Trey's here. He's looking forward to the post-season because the Dodgers. That means buy the book as well. Yeah, I've got that set up. Don't worry about that. But I don't know where you want to start with Scarcity because I'm going to say something, and if Scarcity you don't watch, but they might not like me saying it. But
Can I put the camera down a little bit more? And then
yeah, can do.
Can't we?
I can see me. It's fine. They seem quite good for small content creators, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but there weren't many big content creators there. There were a lot of people there, and people are going to find this offensive now, but we're not big content creators, and we're there, right? Which Stacey helped sort us out to get tickets in.
Yeah,
right?
so thank you.
But there are a
did
lot of
enjoy
like
it.
channels that are like smaller than ours that were, and it was good to see, and it's kind of, but it's interesting because usually you go to these things, it's like it's a big chat, but there weren't really any big, like, no offense to anyone, maybe we didn't see everyone, but it was just like normal content creators, which was really good.
Hi, Rachel.
I do mean that in a good
Hey,
way.
Trey. Hey, Gara. Hope you're all well.
But yeah, Trey will be excited for the Dodgers. I think he'll be supporting the Dodgers this time. But yeah, I didn't know what to expect. It's built, for anyone who doesn't know, it's built at Camelot Theme Park, which closed on September 2nd, 2012, which seems like an odd date for it to close. But I went in 2009, so when I was there, I was kind of like, oh, this used to be here, this used to be here. We turned up. It did start a little bit late, I think.
It's because I think it's because of the waiver.
Yeah, the way that was really
but
weird.
I don't know if because they really stretched it out a little bit to.
We had to keep.
get
I mean,
inside.
as it says at the bottom, there's a link to the full vlog in the description, which has all the maze walkthroughs as well. But there was a waiver to sign at the start, and it was really weird because we didn't bother reading it, and maybe we should have read it. But there's nothing in there that was so scary. Like, I'm not trying to be offensive to Scarcity, but we even got told before we walked in, it's in the vlog, the woman said, because I don't know if they do this in America, Trey, but in this country, a lot of haunts now say, oh, you're not allowed to touch them, but they're allowed to touch you, which is a bit scary, and a lot of them do that now. But this one even said, after we signed the waiver, I don't know if it's in the waiver, but the woman actually said on my vlog, so it's on film, don't touch them, they're not going to touch you. Which is funny because I got touched later on, but I don't mind. But what did you think about the waiver? Before I go into anything, because I just thought it wasn't extreme enough to need a waiver.
I thought it was more going to be based around, from our experience of like other scare mazes that we've had, that either touch you or you don't touch them, or you might get taken somewhere else maybe, or something, because we are used to the extreme version, the more extreme version. And I think that's what it was, but it was more a waiver for the layout of the actual event itself, wasn't it?
I didn't really read
I
it.
actually took a photo of it.
I did put it in the vlog, but I don't know if it focused. But,
yeah, but I actually took a photo of it.
Before I go into what happened inside, we did that, then we had to queue to get in, and then, which I'm not complaining about, and then we got these VIP things. We got given 2 VIP tickets each. And we're kind of going, what are these for? What are these for? And no one seems to know. And then we asked someone just before we go to the, because basically, for anyone who's not seen the vlog or hasn't been before, it's about, they say there's 10 haunted attractions there. What we later realised was they count the halfway point where you can get food and stuff as a haunted attraction, because we did 4, then that, and then 5, and it's impossible to miss any because basically you go through the scare maze. Straight after, there's a lit footpath with lights on either side that take you to the next one. So it's just a constant. It's not like when you go to Alton Towers where you do a maze and you've got to go to another part of the theme park to get it. This was just like basically go, done the maze, okay, out the other side. You might have to wait when they've actually in it, but you're literally there's only one way to go. You follow a path to the next maze, so you can't choose what order you do them in. But yeah, what do you think about the waiver?
So about the waiver here, it basically says an introduction to what it is, which I thought was great for those that obviously have mobility issues as well.
No one read it.
And it actually says like how long the actual overall experience is and how far you have to walk.
That was quite differential though, wasn't it?
And they even said, like in bold, walk. They said it was like a 2-kilometer walk, the trail, approximately 45 to 120.
Yeah, that was a big
around.
differential, I thought.
Telling you about passageways and places that have obviously got audio and the lighting sort of experiences as well for those that have got sensitivity to light and things. But obviously they just bullet pointed towards the end 4 main things to do with the actual scare actors, saying medically, physically capable to partake in this event, remain designated trail at all times, and it is in bold, at all times. Will not attempt to touch, interfere any part of the set, actors, or audiovisual equipment, and follow instructions from the event staff. So they're the main 4 bullet points that is actually about the overall thing. But obviously with the environment, I thought it was really handy, like I said, for those that are not able-bodied to know exactly what was going to happen, for how long, and the fact that there may be uneven surfaces because it is like an old derelict sort of place. So, but they do have a lot of nice sort of lit up paths anyway for you to walk along. So they couldn't do anything wrong, to be fair, I don't think. I think they did the right thing with that waiver. So credit to him on that one. But it did take a long time to queue up in order to go, in order to get it signed. But that was the only thing. So what was the normal entry fee?
I'm trying to find that now.
Ooh.
Gold entry. I'm guessing gold is normal. Oh, no.
And
it's around 36, 37 quid, I think, because we didn't get charged for it. And what are you going to say?
And it's also 14 years old plus, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you could take less than a 14-year-old with how scary it was, but I don't know if
it's under parents'
ironically
discretion.
It'll get better in the like it wasn't bad, but what I'm saying is like we went to Screamfest was it last year or the year before we went to Screamfest?
Yeah.
We went with Ben from Ben and Holly. And he didn't take Holly because it said it was going to be scary.
Yeah,
and we realised by the end, he realised Holly could totally handle those mazes. But apparently Scare City actually says they retain the right to not let you in if you're too young, which I think if a parent says... But what I was saying before about that, we got these 2 VIP things, and it's in the vlog. No one seemed to know what they were. And then someone just asked someone. It was like, oh yeah, that's for food. So that was to cover your food, which later we realised we mucked up because you get 2 vouchers. You can use it for food or drink. And what we should have done was used it for 2 bits of food rather than waste one on a bottle of Coke. But that is what it is. But
that was my fault.
I think it's roughly about... I just looked for this Saturday if you want to go. It's 37 quid. 26th is sold out already on the website. But that's like the going rate is about 35 quid a person until you get closer to Halloween. So we started it, and the first one, you had this long walk down to the slaughterhouse. See, I was going to go to Warsaw, and then I saw it was about 18 quid, and there's only 2 mazes there. I've actually looked today because we're doing a few this weekend, and I maybe want to do some. Not next week. I'm doing Scarefest. I'm divulging a bit because Gareth's asking, but I will get back to Scare City. But we're going to do Scarefest next week.
We'll get back to our plans.
And then on the 19th, we'll do something else. And I was looking, and I thought Walsall is the closest out of all these places we've not done. I was looking at like Farmageddon and The Howl and Tully's and some other stuff, Fearhaven. And it was just like, Walsall, oh, that's quite close. Let's look. Oh, it's only about 18 quid. Oh, it's only got 2 mazes. No, I'd rather go a bit further. Like, I don't know which one we're going to pick for that weekend yet.
You can't go to any of them.
Well, they reserved the right not to let her in,
shame.
even though she would she would easily handle them. The stuff she's been in before.
Is the full waiver shave your...
Oh, really? We're about 35 quid here, but you do 4 or 5.
Yeah, so you basically pay £35 and it would cover like 6.
It depends how many there are.
or
There's some.
7,
There are
depending
some.
on the size.
I'm
of
kind
the
of going
mazes.
over all the stuff, not just Scare City,
Yeah.
in this country. But we started with went down this hill, and I was expecting there to be actors about, and there weren't any actors on the path about. And then we kind of queued to get into Slaughterhouse, if you've seen the vlog. And I thought, oh, Slaughterhouse.
Sorry.
This is gonna have a chainsaw in it. No, it didn't, but it was all right. I kind of was. This is a really weird thing, and I know a lot of mazes do it. I was taken out of it because it was playing music. It was scary music, but it was an actual piece of, I don't know the name of it, a piece of music, and I kind of thought
Yes.
they wouldn't be playing the music if I was really in a killer's house at this point. I wouldn't be hearing this weird music very loud. And there weren't chainsaws, but in the video we show them, they've got almost like, well, they are like Halloween decorations where like paper chainsaws hanging from the ceiling,
But there was,
which I didn't think fit because
yeah.
a guy, if you were going into an actual slaughterhouse, they wouldn't have decorations going fake chainsaws.
I don't know if you heard me in that maze though, because I turned around and said, "We've had one of these above our bedroom door, and we got it from Poundland."
Yeah,
I literally said that. I was like, "Oh, we got it from Poundland."
you couldn't
all I
see
remember.
much in the first one, which is, I think the first one will be good, and I think they'll tweak these. So I'm not going to say anything bad about Scare City, but the two main things I got from that maze were we caught up with the group in front, okay, and there were some good scares that I noticed in the video that I didn't notice at the time, like this picture slamming on the wall. But the main thing in there that when we told the woman at the end, she said, "Oh, that makes it extra scary." Then was it's either one or two, but they're quite large steps in a dark area in that house, and there's no sign.
Yeah.
You're in a misted area anyway.
Yeah,
there's no
it was
sign.
misty.
If no one had told me, I would have probably
Yeah.
stacked it.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, because the thing about these waivers is there's a lot of stuff that the waiver can't supersede law, and I'm just saying this quickly because to put people like Gareth will say there's waivers and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff you can put in a waiver. But if that actually happens, the waiver doesn't supersede law, so people could still go, "Yeah, I've signed that, but this is the law."
But you didn't actually.
But no, I didn't fall over. But I'm
Yeah,
just
didn't actually state
pertaining
that
to what
there's
Gareth's
steps.
saying. But it's quite a long vlog because we put the stuff inside the mazes in. But the first one, there wasn't a chainsaw in it. Now, spoiler alert, there was no chainsaws here because apparently there's one engineer who I don't think it's in the vlog. The woman told us at the end. There's one engineer who can do the chainsaw, and he wasn't there on press night. So
what is that? Go and have a look at. What's that?
I think she means our vlog, or she's going to look at it somewhere else. But so the first one was all right to be the first
Good
one,
luck.
and then we did the clown one, and looking back at the time, I thought it was all right. Then by the end of the night, I thought it's not, and now looking back, it's like it was pretty decent because it had like a sideshow at the start, which I thought was cool, and
I like how each maze was one straight after the other, and the fact that you had the bit in the middle where you could get the I can't remember what it's called now.
It's called the Resurrection Zone.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool with the performers.
What about the second maze?
And then the next set of mazes was really cool. I did like them all. There was just one that I felt like we missed out on something because they decided to slide along the floor to go see this other group behind us.
That's right. What I'm doing is I'm going through the mazes as we do them.
So I can't remember the actual order. That's my problem.
Because you like the clown one.
Quiet,
no, yeah. I'm just letting you know I'm going through them in order. So what did you think about the clown one?
The clown one?
Yeah.
Oh, the clown one. I absolutely... Honestly, you put me in a clown maze, I will happily walk in there on my own blindfolded. I love it. And it got to a point where I was singing a rhyme about a clown, and yeah, there was a clown that went near me and went, "I like that," and then carried on, and yeah, it was lovely.
Because this clown bit is the only bit that I actually thought, oh, okay, this isn't for kids. There is you do the sideshow bit, and that's quite fun. And then you go in an actual house, and there was actually a good jump scare where that guy had a box, and he opened it, and that clown came out at me. And there were some clowns in the background that looked real, but they were mechanical, and I was like, why are they wasting 2 acts of it? But they weren't real. But it was really good in there. But the one thing is, you come out, and it's in the vlog, and then there's a guy with a microphone doing an actual show where he cuts someone's head off. But it's trickery, which...
Yes, I think I took a photo of him as well.
But the language he comes out with is quite adult, and he's talking about politics, and then he's using the F word a lot. And it's really weird because if you took that out, I couldn't see why the whole thing couldn't be done by someone who's like over the age of 11.
I don't know if I'm allowed to use photos, but that's my photograph.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
One thing they did on press night was said take photos of everything, film everything as much as you can. I actually got told that before we went in.
There you go. There he is.
Because the guy, that's a
He's
mannequin
the
in the
guy in the
background, but there's a
background.
hole in the wall, and the guy's head is real, and he cuts his head off. But the stuff he said, like, don't get me wrong, but that's the only time in the whole thing where I thought to myself, okay, this isn't for kids, because the language, which is fair enough, because it's not for kids, but the rest seemed like it was maybe jump scares at times, but it didn't seem too out there.
I will put them on my.
I mean, it was good, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, if that was one thing about this maze that stood out, was the bit that wasn't for kids, but it was entertaining, and but I'm not a fan of anything to do with clowns or zombies, because I feel like it's been overdone.
It's a bit same old, isn't it? Yeah.
But people don't like clowns.
Oh, sorry, viewers, if I've really spooked you.
But the third maze, which was called Arachne, wasn't it?
Arachne, yeah.
Was really good because it was only in one container, and it was like you zigzag 3 very small corridors.
Yes.
But the way they did it, that was probably my second or third favourite of the whole night, because it was just, it wasn't very long, and it was quite small, but it was so well how they did it, and they had like 2 actors in there, didn't they?
And this is the thing, is that you could see like a hole in the wall. They had like loads of like cameos
down low
on the side, loads of webs.
Yeah, the webs went everywhere.
And I could see this like little hand, like a kind of a claw.
Oh, I waited when she was behind you.
I did. I kind of waited, and I thought.
No, I meant the first time when she was behind you. When you saw it in the vlog, I'm following you. It's the bit if you only watch the first minute where I say what's coming up, there's loads of flashing lights at the end of the corridor, and there's you, and there's all cobwebs, and I knew someone was there, so I'm like, I want to film this person, so I didn't go, and then she just came behind you.
And do you know what?
Dressed as a spider, which was quite decent.
And the costume looked really cool as well. And the thing is, credit to these actors at Scare City, because they all, certain ones, really went full on with their outfits, to a point where even like the contact lenses were in and stuff. It looked so good. And for me, at first I thought, okay, I didn't get that much interaction out of the first one. This one, I felt like I did. And straight away she was behind me and she's going, and thinking I was going to scream. And I was like, I'm not scared of spiders.
I was like, she's taking the scenery with her. And then she turned
to I literally turned around to her and went, you look beautiful. And she went, thank you. And then carried on again, and then went to go scare someone else. So, but I went so far forward that I didn't realise till I got out how far forward I was.
That's because I stopped, because I went to film her.
But it was so good. But they were all like bendable, and like they were bending backwards and all sorts in there.
I said she's taking the wall with her, and then she just argued that it was a web, but the web was coming. It was almost like that fake snow you get at Christmas.
Oh, it's the fake webs.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was a really good use of space.
I like that one.
There's flashing lights, so if you don't like strobes, you can't go in there. One thing I will say, just because we're talking about spiders quickly, that it seemed quite a unique setting for a. Because I did wonder what it was going to be like. So I'm like, well, people have got to be dressed as spiders, but they did it really well. But did you know the reason spiders don't stick to their webs is because they remember what parts of the webs are sticky. They can actually stick to their webs. They just remember which parts are sticky. Yeah. I just remembered that little fact then for anyone at home. But I thought that was really good. At the time we did it, that was my favourite, but that was the third one we did.
Every day's a school day.
And then it was probably my second or third favourite. And then we did... Oh, it was called like the Basilisk of Gallagher or something like that. It was the Basilisk or Basiliska. I remember that. It was a church one, and it was actually it was inside one of the buildings of Camelot. And what adds to it is obviously when this part was abandoned, loads of Urbex people went there and graffitied the hell out of everything. So it looks really run down and abandoned.
Now this one, I don't know if this was like part of like trying to be like a movie in a way, because obviously this was where the music kicked in, wasn't it? And the orchestral music was in.
The music worked in this though, because we were meant to be in a church.
I think this is the thing. I got a bit
when we went into a slaughterhouse.
I got a little bit spooked, and I said to myself, "You have to go in the front," because I don't know what it was. It just got me a little bit.
But compared to what I said about slaughterhouse, if you went into a house that's a slaughterhouse, right, and people might have chainsaws and stuff, you're not just going to hear some random Well, you might do if they're into that music, but normally you're not going to hear
You
it.
could
Whereas
feel-
the religious one, you're in a church,
Yeah, and
so you're meant to hear church
you
music.
could feel like the violin and the tension just getting higher and higher, like you would do in
There
a
was-
movie. And I was like, oh my gosh! And the lights were flashing in
was quite
tune with
good.
it, which I thought was brilliant.
There was a bit where we waited for an actor because they weren't there, and then they looked really surprised because we were like, okay, we'll wait because we know they had to do too much. I think this event could have started about an hour earlier because I think the actors were overworked. It wasn't their fault, but we heard them doing this other scare, and then they've got to work this other area we've come around to, and we're like, okay, we'll wait. And then they carry on the curtain, and look really surprised that we knew they were going to be there, and we were just waiting. But there was quite a good scare where that woman came out from above.
Yeah.
On like a bungee thing. That was quite cool. But it was really cool. I wish I'd film myself in this bit.
Oh,
Basilica of Galgani. It almost seems like Ov should be like day instead because the rest seems Italian and then it's just got Ov in there. But there's this bit where you walk through the church bit and there's monks on either side and one of them's going to be real. And I wish I'd film myself so I could see him when he attacked me from behind.
I got a photo of him
He
in the shadows.
He had a face like a scarecrow / lizard.
And it had like upside down crosses on the sides, but they're all like rainbow.
But I show him
cool,
because I was at the front. I show him when he turned around.
But that was Mike in the middle.
And then he tells me to get out or carry on or something, or do you want to stay or no? And then it's not obvious where to go because there's just a big curtain. So I was like, do I go this way? And then he didn't answer. I was like, do I go this way? And then I went through, and there was a bit of a gap where you didn't go through, and it's in the vlog, and there's like a vicar on the other side or a priest that goes, come on, good Christians are welcome. And then I turn around, no one's there. I go, I'm the only good Christian.
And then
when the rest come through, he goes, bad Christians are allowed as well. And then we had this bit that looked like there was going to be a jump scare, but there wasn't. It was quite good. And he had to wait for a certain amount of people, and it's in the vlog. And then we walk around, and we go into this room where there's an exorcism, and that room was massive. Like, it was impressive, but at the same time, you just think, for what they did, like, it's a massive room, and I did show it, but there's an exorcism with a woman.
I had visions.
And a vicar.
Did you think something would come out of that giant wall that was all lit up with?
No, I thought someone might come out from behind us.
See, I thought something
because there was an alcove there,
or something would come flying across. That's what I thought would happen.
Universal, if that gets made, though,
please. And I really want them to do like Hammer horror stuff.
There is the Howl.
I really want them to do Hammer horror stuff.
No, I'm probably going to do Doctor Who again. There is the Howl in Leighton Buzzard. Or do you think that they will suffer because that's in the same area? That's a question for you, Gareth. But
that is a good one.
Yeah, then you leave, and there's not really a big scare at the end. The vicar tells you to leave, and then I walked out of that, and I can't remember if it's in the vlog. I turned to Paul. I try not to call him Stacey because that's also June's last name. But I talked to Paul, and I said that's probably the best one so far. And then the interesting thing is because we were like not the first group in, but we were probably near the start. They actually don't open the second half of the park till later on. So if you get to the middle bit earlier than it opens, you can't go any further forward anyway. They went there. The entertainers were, they were decent. I think it's a lot of similar stuff to what we've seen at Scream Fest, and this sounds really weird.
Extreme Scream as well had them as well. The fire.
No, the thing I found interesting when it happened at Scream Fest was it was under like a what do you call it? It was undercover, wasn't it?
I'll be doing all of them, Rachel.
Oh yeah, we're going to do all of them. Yeah, because I saw today pass holder. It's 40 quid to do everything, which isn't too bad. That's 3 mazes, the dance thing, and the 2 children's things.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to do all that.
Which we only missed last year because I got really poorly last year. So that's why. And that's why we only went to the one that was the walkthrough scare maze at the side of the Wicker Man.
And then... do you want to talk
just hear loads of screaming.
Yeah, there's screaming
next
door.
Like,
it's Halloween there. So, do you want to talk anything more about Basilica of Galgani, or do you want to talk about the Resurrection Zone now? Because the Resurrection Zone was... The actors were good. The weird thing is, right, and this isn't a knock on Scare City, because they were like really good to us, and they said, film and photo everything you can, right? Which is great. I actually think this is the kind of event where they use that to iron out stuff, because I get the feeling the event's going to be better, which it should be, for the actual people that are paying for it. I feel like it's going to get better for people that visit after press. Press night was good, but I think there's going to be more stuff added. That's the impression I got. But this bit, marquee, that's it. There was like a marquee at Screenfest, wasn't there? So there are people doing the same stuff we saw now, but to do that with a roof above you that could potentially catch fire and not catch fire is quite. Not, the guy juggling knives was cool, and he acted up to the camera, which was cool. He did the fire as well. The clown was quite cool, although he nicked your hat for a bit.
Yeah, he did.
He had a bottle of Jack Daniels.
In fact, if I remember watching Live Tills and Thrills from the year before, he ended up getting his hat nicked and he ran off with it as well. He was quite fun though. He's the one I got the photograph with.
I should do a scare maze.
Really nice.
One thing I'll say, before I ever did scare mazes when I was younger, I always imagined that they'd be quite scary and quite... but scare mazes aren't actually that scary. Like,
if you get scared, I know it releases a certain happy hormone, and some people, when they get scared, they laugh afterwards. So it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's worth having a go and trying it out. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not forcing anyone to do it, but if you want to, you can do. But
I'd recommend going at the front because everyone's behind you then, so you're not actually on your own. Whereas if you're at the back, you just like, and you get held back, but you're not going to get held back if you're at the front. But yeah, Revolution. That's what they should have called it. The Resurrection Zone was quite cool. I got a lot of footage of it.
You'll be fine, Gareth.
That was the one zone, because obviously you get sniped for copyright music on YouTube. But the one song that was like, this is blocked in nearly all over the world, was Back in Black by AC/DC. But it managed to take out the AI thing on YouTube in the end. But that was funny, because I know other people that had a problem with that one song. And then there's some interesting food. I liked, we didn't get any from there because there was a big queue, but the chicken place was called What the Cluck.
Yes.
That was quite funny. And then because they had like normal stuff, like they had chicken, then they had the hot dog and burgers, but then they had crepes and dessert. And I was like, we should have saved the second ticket for that.
Yeah. But I don't think they had any vegan or vegetarian options. I'm not too sure on that one. I didn't really look into that one. I was that hungry at this point. I was like, oh my gosh, I could have a whopping.
We didn't do the mazes last year.
Hot dog.
But the Attic on Towers the year before. I'm not a fan of I'm not a fan of how long they've kept the mazes they've got. And it's almost like this is gonna sound really bad. I think there are some people that like the mazes that they've got now that aren't new, because deep down they know they can go in there and they know exactly what to expect near enough, and it's not going to be scary, and it's a comfort zone. And I feel like the whole point of Halloween is not to be in the comfort zone. Plus, I just feel like they need to change it up. I feel like if you're going to pay, if I had to pay for a remaster of an old video game, I wouldn't have to pay full price. Yeah, I go on Mind Tours again. Sorry, you got to pay full price again, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, if you're going to pick the route of let's not change the mazes again, let's not charge everyone full price again, because I just don't. That's my opinion. But I'm the only one who thinks that, apparently. Yeah, Hex is back soon. I thought it was really weird because we like Hex, but before Hex went, and this proves this little saying I've got, like, it's a bit like, how can you miss me if I don't go away? And it just came to mind, because how many people actually loved Hex as much as they're loving it now because it's coming back before it went? Do you think if it hadn't gone away, people would be going, like, there'll be people at Scarefest, and us included, right? I'm not saying I'm not having a go at us as well.
Hey Dave,
but there are people that go to Scarefest if it's open and will go, oh, I've got to go on Hex, right? If it had never closed and it had been around all year, there'll be people at Scarefest going, I've not got time for that. And it's just weird, isn't it? Do you not think? Like, we're guilty of it as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not having a go at other people, but it's weird how it's almost like when Subterra went, everyone just wanted to put it in the coffin and forget it ever existed. Then when they brought it back before Nemesis Reborn, everyone's like, oh my God, Subterra. And it's just weird how if something goes away, you can miss it enough that everyone will like it when it comes back.
It sounds silly, but it reminds me of my childhood, where my mum and dad used to like rotate my toys. And I'd see it, and I'd literally be a kid and be like, oh my gosh, I've got brand new toys again. But actually, no, it wasn't. It was the fact that they just got
we can play our game
cleaned
again
and brought back again.
We could play a clapping game again. We always used to clap at the end of the ride to see how much of the room we could get to clap as well. They were playing the Duel music somewhere else recently. I saw it on social media. I can't remember where. Oh, Legoland, that was it. Legoland were playing the Jaw music near the castle.
We're all right, Dave. How are you? Have you been up to much?
I think he's going on a cruise soon, if he's not been already.
Oh, Dave, have you watched ours at Goose Fair as well?
He's watched that Gulliver's one. I know that. He told me about that.
That's awesome.
But he's going on a cruise soon if he's not been already, because he's talked to me about it.
Do you do scare mazes, Dave? Out of curiosity. Because we're just talking about some.
So the Revolution Zone was quite decent.
Mm.
Stacey told me it was his favourite bit. So she did actually.
Ooh, nice.
But
Hopefully it'll be good weather for you as well.
But then we found out that.
Thanks, Rachel.
But then we found out that they counted the Resurrection Zone as one of the 10 haunts, they called them. So, because we kept going, we've only done 4 mazes, and we were counting them all, and we only did 5 after.
Yeah, we were trying to work it out, but because we'd gone through one thing after another, and yeah.
So we went round to the infirmary, and at this point, before this, I think in the 4th maze of Basilica, we started to see that there were fast track queues. But obviously, the fast track queues were just open for everyone because it was press night, so we didn't have to do all the cattle pen stuff. They went in the infirmary, and infirmary was great because it was really graffitied old building, even more than Basilica.
Did Paulton's do like Halloween sort of events?
I think a bit.
I'm just curious. I've never been to Paulton's.
Paulton's are like in the intensity.
Sorry, I am listening.
In the intensity thing, Paulton's are like if you went to Drayton Manor and went, actually, I want something a bit more intense, and that's where Paulton Park's just above it. I don't know if anyone will agree, but it's the same kind of vibe of a park. But it's like I want something a bit more intense. Oh, let's go to Paulton's Park. And most people will disagree because they'll go the wave.
Unless you've got Peppa Pig looking like rashers of bacon along a wall. And...
Well, if you look at her from the front, she's got 4 eyes. Well, actually 4 eyes. But what did you think of Infirmary? I thought it was really good, and I thought the graffiti added to it.
Infirmary.
That was the one where Stacey got the dentist to put him on the chair.
Yes.
And then we didn't want to walk around the corner because that girl was in a wheelchair.
Oh, yes.
Which is so funny if you watch the vlog.
That was the one I think had the most scare actors in compared to the others so far at this point. And there was this one bit, obviously, when Paul got put in the chair, the dentist chair, by another.
They told us to leave. The dentist was like, "Can you leave?"
And I just saw this foot move on a wheelchair and going backwards and forwards and hearing this, and I was like,
and then I saw it.
And I actually turned around to you and went, and I just grabbed you at this point. I went, "You're gonna have to go in front because I can't anticipate this." And it was really
the foot
good.
looked real and the hand didn't. So I was like, "What am I going to see around there?"
Yeah.
So then I got June to go first, and then it was just completely fake person in a wheelchair.
And it was just all of us were like, "What's happening?" But it wasn't just that. It looked like Cthulhu in the face. The person that was pushing the wheelchair, and then this creature was in the wheelchair, and I thought that was really good. So whoever did that one. That's a good character, whoever that was. If you're watching them.
What I didn't realise it's in the vlog that we just see that apparently there's a bit where you look to the right and there's like a woman who's hovering. That's a real person because I've seen a photo of the actor. I thought it was just a fake thing. So the room you don't go in. And then we saw a woman who was cut in half who told us to leave, and I proceeded just to film because I thought it was quite cleverly done how she didn't have her legs. In fact, there was a guy near the start of that maze who's been cut in half.
Yeah,
and the table is so thin. Until you get to the end of the room and you actually look underneath, which is what I was doing, you couldn't see that they'd actually managed to stuff him into the table.
Yeah.
But that was quite good.
It's press event.
We've got Fear Factory in Doncaster press event on Sunday. Yeah. But we're going to be civilians on Saturday at Extreme Scream. Yes. So
represent
civilians.
With my old hoodie, but yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to ride Hyperion.
I have Hyperion back up and running for it. We might be able to ride it next year, I think, at this rate.
It's not grabbed me like... There are a few things we're doing that... There's a lot of stuff we do that's not theme park related that I can't talk about because some of it we've not done yet. But it's like, I'd rather do that than when we have the choice of Hyperion or that. It's like, let's go do that.
We have a lot to explore yet.
But Infirmary was good. There was a bit at the end where there was like a cattle pen maze, but it was like plastic white sheets. And the woman kept grabbing at me. And I was like, am I allowed to walk past? Because I'm not allowed to touch you, but you're in my way. And then she was just holding everyone up. And she's like, I'm allowed to walk past? I didn't know, but I did. They didn't have anything big at the end to chase us out. But the dentist was really cool. And in the vlog, watch Stacey's vlog, which is I think it's up by now, isn't it? Yeah, I think I've seen it. And
I
he
think-
got put in
I
the
think you
actual
can't-
dentist chair.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a crazy hospital sort of setup.
Oh, there's a
So,
corn
yeah,
maze
it's
near us
amazing.
that does scare acting at night, but it only does it for a few
Yeah.
nights over Halloween. So I don't know if
I'm
it's
gonna say we've not missed that, have we? I don't think.
no, but I don't
But
know if
we'll
we're going to
have
get a chance to get it.
Hmm.
So the infirmary was all right, and then we
Hmm.
walked up to past where Nightmare used to
Is it
be.
the junkyard?
No, not yet.
No.
And then we walked to. I
Oh,
don't know if
red
it was.
light.
Yeah, I don't know if it was called Reaper Ranch, but the area was called Reaper
Yeah.
Ranch. And there's a bit in the vlog where there's loads of scarecrows,
Mm.
and I went, "What they could have done here was make one of them real." And then as soon as I said that, one of them walked towards Paul, which was quite funny. But red light, green light was fun. That's like
I like that one. I wish it's just, again, it's another one that I thought I wish it was that bit longer, but I did feel the tension because one of them came up to me and went, "Oh, what's your name?" And I was like, "Dare I move? Dare I say anything?" I was like, "Stacey, it's Stacey." Like ventriloquist speech.
So for the red light, green light, and this was quite cool because I got a lot of feedback, like not on the YouTube comments from other people about that who didn't go. We went into this house, and I'm guessing the woman was a zombie, and there's a bit of an intro, and then she puts you in another room where you get to watch a video that explains you can't move on the red light, and then he sends you out like 2 or 3 at a time, and it was quite fun. And I saw people's vlogs from last year, and there it looked like you were just doing it in like a rectangle concrete bit, whereas this was like more thought out. You had to go like round a corner, and it was really good. I think last year was zombies as well, which I don't really care for zombies.
They also had some photo opportunities in that building before we went out.
Oh yeah,
which was nice.
We got talked to. Well, it's in the vlog, yeah.
Yeah, so that was quite good.
But that was quite fun. The red light, green light thing. I don't know how much they'd let you film on non-press because it is outside. A lot of these are outside, actually. Having said that,
the weather wasn't too bad though. I did think when we went,
it was raining.
Lucky in a way, it was raining a lot, but some of it, like the mazes themselves, are inside, so it was actually all right, to be fair.
And then
we
did probably my least favourite. No, that's not fair, is it? Because Slaughterhouse was very bad. Like, no offense to Scare City, but Slaughterhouse was very bad.
It just seemed a bit sparse, that one, at first.
But
I thought, okay,
Junkyard
maybe it's just the build
was quite short, and we had there were sliders. You know, the guys with the metal stuff on their knee and the sparks.
Yeah.
But he actually walked past us and went down the hill. We just walked up, so we missed that.
Yeah, he did.
But the Junkyard was like about, I'd say, 100
like...
meters stretch, and that's it. You come out the other side, and they were banging stuff, and they were doing. It was all right.
It looked really cool. It looked like something like, because the guy that did the slider, he kind of had like
mohawk on his.
He had a mohawk,
helmet.
but he had like a clown face again, and it was all metallic. It's a bit like sort of, I won't say steampunk, but like cyberpunk sort of look, with it being the Junkyard, and it looks so cool. Some of the masks look really cool that they did, and it looked like they really put the effort into it. I don't know if the actors make their own stuff, but I just think I've got appreciation for that.
Sibby, the king of the Goose Fair.
Hey Sibby, hope you're well.
He's still having dreams about Aero Force, isn't he?
Such a good time that we had at Goose Fair.
But I'd say Junkyard was probably the second least favourite, but then there wasn't much to it. It wasn't bad, but they could have made it full of like S-bends rather than because you could see the end of that maze when you were at the start. I mean, it wasn't a maze, but you could see the end of that bit before when you were at the start of it. And then you go around a corner, and this was probably one of the better ones, Villa Mortis, which is really good because it was just like fairy tale-ish almost. And we walked down for 8. There's a massive. If you see it in the vlog, there's massive light on these trees. It's hard to explain because you go under these trees, but the canopy's massive.
I must admit.
And the little jester.
Yeah, the jester got my attention straight away.
But I knew that
down and was like that as you're looking.
And then she got us. Yeah, and I said I couldn't get any lower because I was joining her at the level she was at.
Yeah.
And then she took us over to this giant teddy bear that I knew was going to move. And I was like, yeah. And I could see the guy's eyepiece in like the chest of the giant teddy. So I was like, it's going to move. And she was like, stand in front of it. I was like, no, thanks. I know she's going to leap forward at me.
But I knew I kind of knew that was going to happen, but at the same time, I felt like I got more interaction out of that than any of the other mazes that we did.
Yeah, but some for the worst,
and I
because
think that's why I liked
there's one
it.
thing you don't like in scare. Like, you can put up with anything else, to be fair to you, but there's one thing you don't like in scare mazes.
Yeah, and I'm not going to mention it.
Oh, you're not gonna
because
mention
you'll
it?
probably watch it on the vlog. You can probably hear me go.
But that was
no! And then
I'm
hide.
surprised we didn't see
So
one in the slaughterhouse, but that was
Yeah.
we saw one there, and you were just saying to him, no.
that I immediately got Mike's bag and hid behind his bag and screamed no quite often. So yeah.
Sibby got a free ride on Top Skin. He's doing all right for himself.
But it was the fact that the way that the lighting was, and it was just out of nowhere, which makes it sound like a
Do you know what I thought
WrestleMania
was
type
weird as
thing,
well? I'm not going to say who the actors are, but like when Ben was saying, and I agree with him, that Holly could probably do this maze. Like, I'm sure that they're all above 18, these actors, right? But some of them, especially in this maze, looked younger than that.
Sibby.
And I was like, it's weird how they can't let people in because it's too scary. Yet the actors almost seem like they're too young to. They're not, but they looked. I just thought it was ironic that some of the ones in that maze looked quite young.
Sibby, if they ever did that with me, they'll probably want that me of me trying to climb on Top Scan. Just saying.
He looked dizzy when he got off Top Scan as well. He walked into the fence.
It's me climbing on the flopping thing that was the problem. Poor Sibby was pushing me up.
So, what did you think about Vela Mortis?
Vela Mortis, I liked because, like I said, I felt like I got more interaction out of that. And then there was another one as well, which I mentioned it to Paul about that reminded me of a creature, and some of our Welsh friends might know it. I could be wrong, but it's like got a horse's. It looked like it got a horse's head, and then like a sort of like veil thing over it. I did Google it ages ago, but I can't remember.
When we first saw that creature, I waited for it to move because I said,
of that, and it looks so cool.
I said in the vlog, I don't know what we're looking at, or where it starts or where it ends, so I wait for it to move. But also,
and even if he just flinched a bit, I was like, oh, I don't know where I'm going, because it got that many things dangling down, like draped over him, even to like webs or something, and it was just like, oh my god, I don't know which way you're going.
And then I got excited because there's a speaker in the bush near the end of that maze that sounds like a chainsaw, and I thought it meant that the chainsaw was coming up, but then I realised it was just a speaker. But that was probably I don't know if that was the best one actually, because it was quite fun. It probably was better than the church one, just because we had to wait for that actor to come back round and scare us. But that Villa Mortis was probably the best one on the night. Although the last one, there was one more left, and it was so.
I think it's.
It was quite long, and it was very decent. Like all the rest.
Yafaru Wild.
It
reminded me of
look like
that.
at the end, though,
It reminded me of that, but it didn't actually look like that. But
when we got closer to it, it didn't look like that.
I can't pronounce it, but yeah, that name Mari Bull.
It's something in Welsh. It's a Welsh tradition.
But that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, that was cool.
But do you want to talk about anything more about Villa Mortis before?
No, that was it really. That was the one where I got scared. I thought something looked cool. I'd got interactions and I got quite excited about it at the same time. It was like all my emotions came out in that one maze. Yeah, and it was quite awesome. But then the fact that the actors were just so adaptable.
But then we got out, and so far everything's like, I don't have to describe this without sounding. There's a lot of effort put into the final maze compared to every other maze there. Like when you get to it, this is like the favourite child, if you like. This is like the one where this is the last maze, and this is the maze they put. Like there's effort put into the others, but you can tell that they purposely want this one to be the one that you go, this is the best one. This is Nemesis Reborn for them, right? Mm. And what it is, it's quite a big queue there by the time you get there. But you get a lanyard, and basically the lanyard's got a sensor on it, so because they film in there, so you can buy the footage at the end, which we got given for free on press night, which I did put in the vlog. And I thought
if you don't want it, don't wear the lanyard. That's what it says. Just give the lanyard back to the.
Well, no, if you don't want it, you don't have to buy it.
Yeah, but
they're going to film you.
Yeah, but if you don't want to be filmed, you just take the lanyard off, and then they'll not bother filming it.
No, they'll still film you.
Oh, okay.
Because there were other people in my footage. They will still film you even if you don't wear the lanyard. But then,
yeah, the Harley Quinn dancer was cool. A lot of people liked the Harley Quinn dancer.
What, from our vlog?
Yeah.
So the last maze, and I thought it was going to be aliens, but it wasn't. It was zombies. But this was actually done quite well because I don't really like zombies. And then, so there's this army woman at the start, and then it takes place in about 3 or 4 containers. It was quite a long maze, and you go into the first bit, and this is the bit I couldn't work out if I'd missed something because you go in the first bit, and no, it's not Scare Kingdom, it's Scare City. And the only reason I say that is because there is a Scare Kingdom in Preston, which we're probably not going to get to because that's too far to drive. But there is a Scare Kingdom, and it is apparently very good. But just to put it out there, Scare City is what we went to. But the last maze, I can't remember what it was called. So these lanyards, so there are different cameras throughout, not just one camera.
There was no name on it.
It did have a name, but I can't remember what it was. It did have a board about what you'll have to do there and stuff before you went in it. But you go in this first room, and this is the bit I don't know if I missed something because we went in the first room, and this guy's like, stand here, and you can't go anywhere. The door in front's closed, and then we're going through this kind of like sensor with lights telling us that we're not infected. And this is where I don't know if they sent in an actor with us or just had a normal person they said it to. But then the alarm goes off that one of us is infected as someone walked through it. And that's the bit where I'm like, oh, I'm at the front. I wonder if that's an actor or whether they're just telling us someone in our group's infected and then we're just all going through the next bit. So this is where it gets a bit vague. I can't remember some of the other rooms in there. Because we went through...
I just remember to get told move along and just push, move along.
I'm sure there was more stuff until the next bit I remember. The really cool bit was where you go outside. You've got to go around the edge of this massive yard because there's a zombie on a chain and he can only just not reach you when it's fully outstretched the chain. So you've got to go around the outside fence of this yard. But I saw that he could actually get to you when you get to the exit door on the other side. So when you got to it, I was like, go, because it's coming. I was like, he can actually, the chain will let him get to us at this door. So, and then we went back in and this guy's like, oh, you're safe now. And then this alarm goes off again. I'm sure I've missed some rooms in there, but I can't for the life of me think. There was a bit of like up and down.
The one on the chain was just...
Before the chain, actually, there was a bit of like cattle pen stuff going on as well. And then there's some army men and stuff. But the cool thing was, this is the bit where I got touched, actually. There's a room at the end where you go in and they just lock you in from both sides, about 10 of you. And then there's just like 3 or 4 zombies. And they just... Which is really weird because in some ways it's intense because it's quite a dark room. But in some ways it's like, well, I can't do anything. There's nowhere to go. So it's not like, oh, I've got to run. So it kind of is a really cool idea, but then it kind of shoots itself in the foot because it's like, well, I'm just trapped in a room with zombies now. What can I do? it's like, do you know? I don't know. I don't know how to describe that any better. It was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And then it was kind of like, you're in there for too long. It was a good 20, 30 seconds that these zombies were just walking around you going,
It makes me wonder if they should, the red light, green light, obviously the length of that one, but in that kind of containment.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool, I think. Just let them know for next year. I think that would have been more interesting.
Oh, the ghost trains were really good at Goose Fair, weren't they? We did some of those in our blog, which is on the channel.
Yeah, we need to scare event blog for the reaction. Yes.
Yeah, I got. No, it was only because we got told at the start you're not going to get touched, right? And I'm not complaining, but I remember saying it while we were in the room because it's just a container, right? You're shutting a container like a shipping container, which is quite big for like when there's nothing else in there. And then there's like about 10 of us in there, and then about 3 or 4 zombies just like mingling because they can't really kill you, can they? So they're kind of mingling around you. And this guy was just rubbing my leg, and I was like, "Oh, he's touching me." I was told that wasn't going to happen. Like he was rubbing my leg with his hands. But I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it was really weird how we got told, you know, they're not going to touch you. But and then that was like the finale. I don't know if you've got any words about that, Remy. It was kind of...
No, I mean, I felt like I kind of went to the front and then I was like, oh, something's happening back there, okay. And then I just remember getting told a lot, move, move, move.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to...
wait there, now you can go. And then I saw the one with the chain, which I thought was really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's really cute. And he went, get running, get going. And I was like, I don't want to run. It's a cute zombie on a chain. That's my one tip. If you're scared in the mazes, because Gareth and Rachel were saying that, just go through it really slow because the fact is they need to get so many people through there to make money. And I've had it before where I'm looking at the sets and I'm like, well, I've paid to do this, so I want to look at the sets. Yeah.
And they're trying to rush me through and they'll pinch your legs and stuff. And then you get the idea that these are actually just real people in costumes that want to get us out of here as quick as possible. It's in their best interest that you're safe. Not really. It was just like, no. I don't know if this is going to end up going to court and I'm going to give witness testimony.
We'll just leave that point. But yeah, at the end of it all, it was just.
Now we went to the bit with the video and he showed us because we didn't realise we were going to get it for free. So we're like, okay, we'll look at it. And then they just ask for your email or your number and they'll send it to you. But the footage was quite decent. I mean, it's in the vlog and it has some like fancy transitions with horror things in them. And
yeah.
What I thought was weird was the photo ops were at the end. Like, you know, when it has like the Scare City logo.
Yeah,
I thought all that stuff would be at the start.
Well, I thought it'd be somewhere spaced out a little bit more.
Or at the resurrection zone or something.
Yeah, the resurrection
zone. I wasn't pinched in there, but I've had it before at Thorpe and other places where, because I like to look at the sets, and I'm quite happy we're going back there this year, actually. We're going to Extreme Scream on Saturday. Actors all change everywhere and anywhere, but for most of the scare attractions we've ever done over the years, Extreme Screams are normally quite lengthy, but whether the actors are good or not, and most of the time they are there, in Extreme Scream, there's so much detail in the sets.
But they have the roaming ones as well. Like, when you're out the maze, they're actually coming out and, you know.
I think they will have some at Scare City, to be fair.
Maybe if I go to Florida for Halloween. That'd be amazing.
But, what was I saying? What was I saying before you started talking?
What was that? Sorry.
Oh, talking about the pinch thing. Yeah, that happened at Thorpe Park because I was taking my time looking at the sets and they needed to get me out of there because obviously they want to try and get as many people through as possible. And yeah, they will try and rush you in those. And I say, don't let them rush you because you've paid to go in there. And yeah, the last maze was really good, but I don't think it was my favourite because there was just some padding as well. And it's like I say, that last room, it sounds good in theory till, I don't know, it's like, it sounds interesting in theory. And then it's like, well, okay, I'm here now, locked in a room with these actors. They can't actually kill me or anything. So it's like, I used to be a bit intimidated by the chainsaws in the mazes, even though they've got the chains out, right? And then when they started, and I've said this to people, I think scare zones ruin the mystique of the mazes because as soon as I started seeing chainsaws in scare zones, I was just interested. I was like, oh my god, the guy with the chainsaw, right? But we're safe out here because it's a big open space. So then I actually went towards them and was just constantly looking at the chainsaw. I remember saying to Theme Park James, oh look, they've just taken the chainsaw out, the chain out of the chainsaw. That's quite smart. While this guy's trying to scare everyone, and it kind of ruins the mystique because it's like now I'm not scared of the chainsaws in the mazes because scare zones existed, and it's like scare zones like this is what's in the maze. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but I've always argued that scare zones kind of did more damage to scare attractions than they're all right for people that are too scared to go in the mazes, but then you don't do it halfway.
Question for season scare event goers. Do you feel it's less fun over time because you've become normalised to how they operate?
No, I still say the first maze I do of the night, I'm still a bit like before we went in Slaughterhouse, and it wasn't very good. But before we went in, I was like, because I was imagining what would be in there, and I thought Slaughterhouse, there's going to be a chainsaw in here, which obviously I've just said I'm not that scared of, but it's still quite cool to hear the sound, and you'd be like, oh yeah. And then there wasn't a chainsaw. I
think for me, yes, I've got experience in it, and no, I don't think I've become normalised. I still get scared at the same things that I am actually scared of.
A bit.
But it's more.
I get a bit nervous before the first one of the night, and then after that, it's like, okay, I'm in the zone now.
But it's more. How can I put it? It depends on what they put together in order to really scare. I love the fact that I've got this hunger for finding that ultimate scare, if you know what I mean. I can't quite explain it. Like,
it's never satisfied.
Yeah, I just like I'm not saying this in a bad way with Scare City. I think the way that they've plotted out all their little mazes was brilliant, but it left me hungry. And this is where we're at a point where we're booking other scares because I'm just like, I want to get back into doing like all the stuff that we did before.
Average
now we've had a
maze.
year out of doing it and coming back to it again.
The average one of the ones that aren't Daz games, because that just takes place in one room, I believe. They're probably, I don't know, you're looking at about 5, maybe 10 minutes if you're lucky. They're not.
Yeah, like 10, 15 minutes.
I think once
usually.
you do one, Gareth, you'll realise what they're like. I mean, they can be a bit scary, but I feel like most of the time, even if they come across scary, it's more, this is really hard. Like, I don't know if I can explain it right. It's more like,
it's worth trying it, and if you're going to do it with
it's
a big
not
group
scary.
of people
It's
that
more
support
like
you.
laughing at the person, someone else in your group when they got scared by someone. Do you know what I mean? It becomes that more than, yeah. I don't know. It's not.
Yeah, it sounds really creepy, Dave. Sorry, I can't explain it. When you've kind of got it and you think, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. It feels great getting scared. Then you want to do more. If that makes sense.
I agree with Sibby there. I said it earlier. I said, Sibby, if they're doing the same mazes, they shouldn't charge us the same amount of money each year. It should be like, we're getting the same product again. I think
this is why we had a year out there. To
I
be fair, there was only
feel-
like one new scare maze. And
I feel like until people are willing to say to towers, look, make a new maze and do them, then that's just going to keep the old ones. But at the same time, I don't know if a lot of people that do towers don't do any other scare parks because they don't want to go to somewhere specifically for.
But bearing in mind, if you are doing scare mazes, there's also other events you can do because there's the trick or treat street, isn't there, and things like that. So it's not just do scare mazes at Halloween. People might just want to do trick or treat.
They've got 3 mazes, and then a 4th one, which is Daz Games, which is I don't know if you know him in the States, Trey. He's a person who plays video games online, and he's got a contract for a few years. So they're doing a maze based on him, and all you do is do you get a wristband or something? You get some kind of logo, and you have to search around this like arena almost setting rather than a walkthrough. And it's actually got you have to find your emblem and get out it. And if you don't manage to get out in the time, then you're in there for like 5 minutes. But it actually has a scoreboard of who's done the quickest. And I thought I wouldn't want to pay to go in a scare attraction to then go out as quick as possible.
I am going to agree with it. With Nox Travels on this one, yes, because I've seen your. I've
seen his video, yeah.
And I think that one is more extreme than Extreme Scream by the looks of it.
So yeah, they've got 3.
But I am curious.
They've got 3 mazes, Trey, and then they've got that 4th Daz Games one, and they've got 2 children's ones. One's Trick or Treat, and one's a new one that's based on like Day of the Dead almost. And it's £40 for annual pass holders to do all 6 of those. I don't know how much it costs normally. Which isn't too bad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Still Alive 3 years in a row. It came. Oh, do you know what? I'm really happy though. From what I've heard, they got Cabin in the Woods back.
Cabin in the Woods was fun because she had that room.
I don't know if I'm right on that one with Thorpe Park, but yeah, we used to like the Saw one.
Cabin in the Woods was fun because if you found the secret room, you could set off effects in another room and it was on a camera, so you could scare people around. Because we used to stay in there for ages and the actors used to make us get out.
It's brilliant. That's such a shame. No interest in Daz Games. Towers.
Apparently, it was back by popular demand, and it wasn't back because they signed a contract for so many years.
I mean, we can't say anything yet because we've not actually tried it. So this year is going to be the first time we're going to try Daz Games.
Yeah, it's not including the pass, but it actually costs more than that if you don't have an annual pass. But I feel like a lot of stuff in this country, they wait for something to be around a while. Like, I know Daz Games is popular on YouTube, but he's been around a while, like, so they can try and get a cheaper price on the.
He's turned around and said it's scarier this year than it was last year.
He would say that, though, wouldn't he?
Interesting to
see. It's all dollar, isn't it? If I was getting paid by someone to do a maze themed on something I do, I'd go, yeah, it's scary. Yeah, go in there.
When are we going?
When are we going to Scarefest?
End of the month.
We're going on the 12th, which is technically the second day because I think they're open on the Friday.
Scarefest.
Yeah. Next Saturday, not this Saturday. And then we're going on the 26th. Yeah, I do think that. But it's like I say, I think a lot of people that do Alton Towers and Thorpe don't do scare parks and don't see. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like watching DreamWorks films your whole life. And it's like, yeah, Shrek's all right. But then never ever seeing a Pixar film. And then someone just going, oh, here's Toy Story. Oh my god, that's amazing. You know, if you want something scary, as soon as you go to a screen park, that the theme parks are right, but the theme parks don't primarily do scare attractions. The scare parks primarily do scare attractions.
You did dance games in 2 minutes, Knox. How?
See, if we go in there, I might go in there, pretend to have a panic attack, and just walk around. Because if I've paid for it, I'll just be like, no, I'm staying in here. I'm staying in here till the end thing where you get chucked out after 5 minutes, because it's like I've paid for this. You know what I mean? I'm just very much the thing, like, they've already got all this money out of me. I'm not gonna be out of there in like 30 seconds.
Shrek is love. Shrek is.
Oh, that's good. $45 for 10 mazes. See, I don't know if Dr. Frights is good because Sibby doesn't like scary things. So I don't know if that means it's actually not that scary, so it's all right for.
I think whatever you do, guys.
2 symbols it is.
Whatever you do, guys, I just hope you have an amazingly spooky time.
It's only just started, isn't it? But Scare City's decent. I mean, it was 2 hours and 45 minutes each way for us. So, but then it was free, so I appreciate the Scare City doing that.
But thank you for having us as well.
And we've got a lot of. I've got a vlog I've got to edit soon. But we've got a lot of Halloween stuff coming up. We're doing about 3 things this weekend, so. I like the way he censors some words and not others. There's Scarefest on Monday. The other thing is actually that I think makes the deal even slightly less good is Trey was saying, oh, you have to pay for them as well. Yeah, not only that, but I'm sure the pass holder tickets you can only do before a certain time of day. It's not like you can book them for like way into the evening if you want to do it in the evening. Although I would recommend doing all the mazes as soon as they open because that seems to be when the actors are at their best when I've done Scarefest in the past. I don't think that's a problem. I think that sounds like Gareth scared, and he's
just
like, I might get the flu. I'm not doing a scare maze.
Just wear a mask and use hand sanitizer.
Between 3 and 6. If you don't want to do it, if you're not into scary stuff, Gareth, I'm not going to say you should do it. But I think once you do one scare maze, you'll realise they're not, unless you're going somewhere like Hitchinbrook House, which is extreme. Most of them have a bit of scariness and then a bit of fun stuff to look at, and you have a bit of a laugh in there. And if you're lucky enough to not get rushed through by the actor, you'll get to see a story as well. But I don't think it's as scary as if you've not been in one, you're imagining it to be. I don't know if you want to add to that or not.
I don't know. All the fair mazes are indoor anyway, so might as well keep.
Well, I know some people like to do them at night, but it's like I found the actors were good last time we did it.
If you want a good scare, obviously listen to Mike's advice. But obviously, if you're not 100% sure, you can always just go earlier on in the day where obviously it's not pitch black, but make sure you do go with your friends, not just some random person going, hi, I've spotted this ticket, can I just tag along with you? Because you're just literally going to sell yourself short there. And so as long as you've got that emotional support when you come out of it, and if you really are that bad, staff will stop the maze and will escort you out if need be. So no matter which scare maze you're in. So I'm not saying I've done it, but some Alton Towers staff did get a bit concerned that I got a bit panicky at the end of one of them years ago. But that's because I lost the bag to cover my head. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to get kicked out. But no, it was fine. So they did make sure 100% straight away that they'd check on me when I came out and that I was fine. So it's all good. So whatever you do, get the book.
Get the book, the link's in the description.
And obviously, if you know any friends, family, obviously just let them know as well. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
You've not got a photo challenge?
We do have a photo challenge. And this time, my new photo challenge is, which I will check right now, because we're in a new month. So thank you, everyone, for putting in about fire. They have been awesome. I did put a dragon in, yes, but dragons breathe out fire. So there we go. So it can be your own interpretation before anyone disses me. So for this one, we've got, if the internet lets me be what I am, trying to find out for this month. It's just being poopy. Right. This one is for October. It's going to be so easy, this one. And I can imagine a lot of vegetables. Pumpkins.
Oh, wow. What's happening?
Well, it's actually the colour orange. So October is orange. So there we go. So that is your prompt for October. So that will be very interesting.
So yeah, I'll try and get the Oktoberfest vlog done for this weekend if I can, because I think round 2 was better than round 1. I just want to say thank you because the Joneses got me quite a lot of birthday presents as well.
And everyone, thank you so much for the well wishes for Mike as well on my Insta. I made sure that he's tagged and he could see them all as well. So you're all amazing, making him feel special on his birthday.
Mama D's coming right at the end. She'll have to watch it on catch up.
Hey, I'd love to see you.
But next week we're going to talk about something that happened before Scare City. I don't know if you want to talk about the social next week that we did.
We could do.
Which was the last social this year. That was quite fun. Yeah. Because people love Gulliver's and we just do socials there. We're doing, well, I've talked to Pleasurewood Hills, so hopefully that's going to happen next year. So Knox will want to go to that, I'm sure. But yeah, I think that's it. We're doing some stuff this weekend. Some stuff we've told you, some stuff we haven't, and we're going to
need a lot of sleep. We're
going to do Scarefest a couple of times after this weekend in the month, and we got, I think, one other thing planned. So yeah, I think we've covered everything there, just like by the book and stuff, because you never know.
So yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Please give us a like and share us because we are a friendly bunch. And we'll see you
in the review.
Because for now,
we're gone.
Bye.